just because you earn more money doesn't mean you're better with money.
No.
And I think that's what happens, is that you can go from making 50K, and even if you went to make 250K, if you were used to spending everything you had at 50, you do the same.
Yeah.
And that's so fascinating that we ultimately just have more to do the same thing with. And so we've got to sort these habits out early, it feels like.
Yeah.
And it's hard, right? Because I feel like money mindset's built from families, it's built through trauma, it's built through our relationship with money over the years. Like, it's not easy. Like, I grew up in a house where we always had just enough. And so I grew up with zero in my bank balance often growing up. And I started working when I was 14. I delivered newspapers. I then worked at Morrison's, which is a grocery store in the area. I then worked in retail. Like, I basically worked every year since I was 14 years old. But even when I was working, I was paying for my phone bill, and I remember paying for my car insurance and all the rest of it. I would end up with zero in my bank balance a lot, because that's what I was always trained to have.
Yeah.
And so it took me years of like changing my relationship with money to actually understand what to do with it. And it was almost like an emotional relationship more than even it was definitely a tactical, practical relationship, but there was also an emotional relationship I needed to work on. Do you touch on that in your work?
Yeah, I do. And you know what? It's so much easier. No matter where you are in your financial journey, it is actually so much easier to feel behind financially than it is to feel ahead financially. And a big part of that is because we compare how we're doing not based on how much we have, but how much we have compared to those around us. And there's research on this. There's research that shows that two people could earn the exact same income and report different levels of satisfaction purely based on whether the people around them are earning more than them or less than them. So you could be on 50,000 and could feel happy about your finances if everyone around you is earning 45,000, or feel less happy about it if everyone around you is earning 55,000.
That's wild, yeah.
We measure our success based on, we're humans, we're social creatures. We measure our success based on what's happening around us. And previously, this wasn't such a bad thing when our social circle didn't extend beyond our local town or our local neighborhood. You could be a baller, blissfully unaware of the bigger fish down the road, right? But now, with the internet, it exposes us to everyone, and the most successful outliers, the most successful anomalies are there for everyone to see. The emotions are a big part of my work, but I want people to understand that there are things that drive their emotions that are outside of their control, and to always remember like the checkpoints that matter and come back to the finance part of it to understand if you're doing better or you're doing okay financially.
Yeah, I'm really glad you raised that too, because I also think that it shows a kind of flaw in human training, in that you'd hope that if everyone around you is making more than you could study them and learn from them and also grow.
Yeah.
But we just end up envying them or being jealous or being upset at ourselves. Even if we're not jealous or envious of others, we kind of become harsh on ourselves. Like, oh, you should be doing better and you're behind and everyone's ahead of you. And it's almost like if we could learn to study people instead of envy them, criticize them, or be upset at ourselves, then it would be healthy to be around people who are doing better than us. Because we also always hear the famous quote of, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
If you're trying to grow your finances, and I'm not telling people to change their friends, but if you're trying to grow a certain area of your life, you will have to be around people who are excelling in that area.
Absolutely. And it just knowing, people excelling in that area, sometimes you are at a certain level of your finances and you don't realize what's possible because everyone around you is also at that same area or same stage. And I remember the moment when I heard someone earning X amount per month. That's when it clicked for me that I thought, oh, that's actually possible. And then when you get there, then you hear someone else say, oh, this is how much I earn per month. And it just changes your view on what normality is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like it's not about, like you said, it's not about changing your circle to try and find friends that make more money, but just understanding that this is the things that are possible. And none of that is out of your reach. None of it is. Like you could do whatever you set your mind to and surround yourself with.